Hello, 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 and welcome to Emotional Response. This is Life Coaching with Ink Ivory. How are you doing this morning? I know, awesome. This is a very unscheduled podcast, mainly because I was supposed to record on Thursday and have a special guest. However, the time was confirmed and it got delayed on my part, and then the special guest could not fix their schedule to meet the time that I pushed the interview back to. So we were unable to record. In addition to that, I didn't have another topic lined up because I felt that the topic that they were going to discuss fell right in line with our topic on Tuesday. So, that being said, I'm here talking with you this weekend. And I think I'm going to make it a 2-part recording, mainly because what happens is, and I'm a firm believer in this, sometimes at the most unscheduled times, you get the best lessons. You really do. You really do. And a lot of times we think life is not played out in a way that is fashioned to our good. However, all things can work together for the good. Even when something bad occurs, you can pull out something good in it. If there's a bunch of traffic and there's a delay and you have to be there at a scheduled time, but because of the delay, you are not a part of a 4-car collision, you can always pull something good out of something bad. And so when you have that perspective, my new motto is, I didn't make it up, but I got it from somebody off online. The glass is neither half empty or half full, but it is refillable. Think about that. I like that a lot more, because at times when you're experiencing bad, you can't see that the glass is half full. And when you're experiencing so much good, you don't believe bad can happen, so the glass is never half empty. Think about that. So the glass is refillable, meaning that life can go on no matter how you look at the glass. And so I want to encourage everyone under the sound of my voice that life can go on. Today's topic, I'm so used to saying tonight, but today's topic is stand in the game. Stand in it. Stand in the game of life. You don't want to be caught up by the bumps and bruises of life and conclude that things are turning on a decline. You don't want to be to the third quarter and down 10 points and looking at life and saying, what's the point in doing the fourth quarter? I'm down 10. Can I go forward? You have to. As long as you have air in your lungs, you have to stay in the game. Not just for yourself and your belief in what you are designed to do, but also for others. The minute you pull out, the minute you might damage thousands of people ahead. And what I mean by that is, if you don't live out your full potential, you don't complete school, you don't complete a program, you don't complete a certification, you don't run this race of life in what you're called to do to its fullest potential, you can hinder thousands of people in front of you. There are people that are listening, watching, and waiting for you to make the next move so they can go on. And you might look and say, why should people be so dependent on other people? It's not that. It's that great hope. It's that great hope amongst the chaoticness of life. I don't know if I just made up a word, but it sounds good for the moment. It's that part of life that says, well, if such and such can do it, so can I. And life is so much more fulfilling when you realize it's not about you. It's really not about you. There's someone anticipating you to go on. They can't wait till you expand to your fullest potential so they can, number one, latch on. Number one, continue to believe in themselves. You have to stay in the game. As long as you got that ball and you're dribbling, you have to stay in the game. You might need a day. Because, like I tell a lot of people, down moments happen and are necessary because you are human. Because you are human. You're not going to always want to smile. You're not going to always want to feel good about life. And when that occurs, self-preservation is key. It has to kick in. You have to pull back. You have to scale back. However you label it, you have to preserve yourself. So that might mean taking a full day and resting. Taking a full night and resting. Taking a weekend and not doing anything. It might feel weird at first. Oh, I'm used to picking up my phone. But actually picking one of your favorite movies that you used to laugh and giggle at all the time, picking it, or the latest movie that you said you haven't had time to see but you want to see, picking that and just cutting off your phone for 2 hours. You'd be like, what? I can't do that. It's not possible. Just think. The world went on without cell phones way before cell phones were designed. People's lives functioned in a very healthy and productive way before cell phones. So that being said, it's all what you believe in. It's certain things I just don't believe in. Like if I open up an umbrella inside the house, I don't believe I'll have bad luck. If I split a pole while walking down the street with another person, I'll have bad luck. I don't believe it. It's certain things that we hold on to as concepts that are so concrete that we believe that if we break that concept in any shape or form, life will not go on. But I challenge you, when you're feeling down, when you're at a negative, when your love bank is at a negative, you're constantly pouring out. You're constantly extending yourself. You're constantly reaching out to people. You want to take that time and scale back. Scale back. Spend time with you. Spend time with your loved ones. Spend time in the moment of just taking a bath or giving your child a bath and watching them laugh and look at bubbles and seeing the simplicity of life. Take time and parking your car along the park and looking at the water or the sky. Scale back. Scale back. You don't want to run yourself rampant to the point that you spin out of the game. I just can't do it anymore. Says who? Is your feeling normal? Yes. It's okay to feel like you can't do it anymore. However, that is just a feeling. And when you categorize it appropriately, you can press forward. You might feel it, but that doesn't mean spin out of the game. It just might mean that you need to revamp, recenter. It's okay. It's okay to come to a point in your life where you feel overwhelmed. But that should be the signal to say, let me scale back. Let me scale back. If this message is not for you and you're good at balancing that, then high five. But when you do come across your loved one or significant other that feels this, don't alienate them. Do not alienate them. Say, hey, check out this podcast. I'm not saying you need to listen to each and every podcast that she says, but listen to this one and try to gather some things out of it. Try to get some information to help yourself recenter or revamp. Staying in the game. So, number one, you want to identify what is making you pull out of the game. Your feelings are valid. It's what you do with your feelings after you feel them that is very key. Identify what is making you pull out of the game of life. Identify it. If it's hurt, if you anticipated a certain person to be in your life at this time, process that. If you never got over a certain person being in your life, process that. Grief has no set duration. No one can look at you and say you should be over from grieving someone for 6 months. They don't have the same value that you have in that person. So they can't say that. So you have to, number one, identify what's making you pull out of the game. A job didn't go the way you wanted it to go, and now you're at a